Hello everyone, it's Friday. This is Michelle at Serendipity House, and gosh, I feel like I've been running ragged today. I just got back from doing moving my things around in my space at Bowerbird, and I thought on the way home I would stop here in my workshop and do some glazing. So the table that we did in the YSL 1 hour enamel abyss yesterday is all dry, obviously because it's only 1 hour, right? And it's ready to glaze. Say hello as you come on. All right, so I'm gonna let you see what it looks like. It's all dry, and it dried kind of matte. I think it's very pretty. The one thing that I have figured out, actually it's a reminder because I already kind of knew this, is that I tend to paint with a heavy hand, and so I had some drips. I'm not surprised. I'm used to using really thick paint and loading my brush and going all texture, so it makes sense that there were some drips. Some I caught, some I went back and sanded a little bit. Honestly, if I wasn't going to be glazing this, I'd probably give it another coat because of the drips and the marks that I made, and that was definitely user error. So okay, so we're gonna glaze. Here's what have all ready to go. Glazing is one of the few things. Glaze and stain are the only two things that I actually wear gloves for because they're super messy and I'm super messy. So I've got my gloves. I've got my shop towels. I've got a bunch of wet shop towels that I have just squeezed the water out of, and this is what I'm going to use to wipe my glaze back with. So I just kind of have a pile of those here because we're going to wipe on and then kind of wipe off to leave it in the spots that we want to leave it. All right, so I've got a bunch of those. I'm going to use my Klingon brush because my glaze is water-based, so Klingon brush. And then when I get to the top, I'm thinking I might make striations, so I have my big B20. I always want to say B12 because of the vitamin, I think. Maybe it is a 12. It says 120. Oh, no, it is B12. B12. I'm not crazy, and that's a good name because I want to call it that anyways. But I think I'm going to use this on the top. Okay. We're using the Wise Owl glaze in metallic bronze, which I've used several times before. I love this stuff. So I'm going to open it, stir it, and we're going to start putting it on the little details here. I don't know if anybody's even here. But that's okay, because I'm going to have this for replay. Hope you guys are having a good day. Got a little bit of a... All right. I can't wait to see how this comes out. I think the metallic bronze with the abyss is going to look really pretty. I just wasn't sure yesterday because, here's my opener. Yeah, I just wasn't sure yesterday, but now I'm feeling confident that this is the right glaze for this. All right. Ooh, it's so pretty. So it's like, hi Demetra. I don't know if I can, from Greece. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're joining us. Is it nighttime in Greece right now? All right, so there's the bronze. Let's see what it looks like over the, well, we can kind of see what it looks like over turquoise, except I'm just wiping it with a brush. So it looks really brown, but when it gets in all the little crevices, it has like sparkles of bronze and gold, and it's a really pretty warm color. Of course, I'm going to wipe it off my wood more than that, so it's going to be pretty transparent. Okay. Hi, Ronnie. We're glazing. Okay, I'm gonna move the camera down so you guys can see me work. I think I actually missed a whole section of this yesterday when I went back for my second coat. But it's okay because since I'm glazing, it won't look too see-through. All right, let's see. Move stuff around here. I feel like I've lifted this table so many times. All right, we're gonna start doing this right here. Oh my gosh. Except that I want to do kind of the front and not the side because I can't reach it. All right, so can we see this? This is what I'm doing. All right, so you can see actually there was see that mark right there? There was a little chip there that I clipped it off with my fingernail. So that's the kind of stuff that that was definitely user error with the enamel. All right, so I'm gonna load up my brush, and I want to just kind of start in here and I'm just kind of dabbing it. Do any of you already glaze, or is this something that's new? I like glazing. I'm more of a waxer though, and you can sometimes get the same effect, except that you know, with glaze there's a lot more colors and it's got a different sheen to it, but you got to work fast. I can't see the other side of this, so I guess, and it does look different when it dries. So I'm just taking my cloth and that spot that is still there that I made, so I might make it darker with the glaze. I'm probably the only one who'd even notice it anyways. I have figured that out, that most of the stuff I stress about, I'm the only one who notices it. So that'll be really pretty when it's kind of subtle right now. Well, it's supposed to be subtle, but it'll be very pretty when it dries. Yeah, glazing and waxing are very different. They are very different, but you know, I think, like, you know, you find that you choose one or the other for the details. Yeah, they are very different, you're right. It's funny though, because there's a lot of people I know that hate to wax, so they're like, oh well, they'll glaze instead. What I do when I glaze is I do kind of brush it off in lines. I'm personally not really great at, some people are really good with getting that cloudy effect. I feel like when I try that, it looks spotted. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like they'll dab it off. I just go for lines. So if any of it is staying, it's going to be all pulled in the same direction. So they might look kind of stripey. Hi, Catherine. So Ronnie, do you glaze or do you prefer to wax? Also, less is more. I've done glaze before when I wasn't sure that I had enough, so I kind of overdid it. And when it dried, it was way darker than I thought. All right, so I think I'll do the top here at the same time. This doesn't, because I've got a wet cloth, I seem to have enough working time. It's not like drying on me. If glaze does dry on you, it is really hard to pull back up. And I think I need a new cloth. Do any of you use the Wise Owl? You like wax? I do too. But I also love using different products and trying different techniques. I'll show you this close up after I wipe it off here. So I do like playing with glaze. I think it's harder to use than wax myself. I guess it's all what you're used to. All right, where I really want it is down in the grooves. All right, I think that looks good. that look? Assuming you can see it. I can't see what the camera's focused on. Okay. I'm going to do this other side and then the top, which for me, flat surfaces, if I can get my iPad to close right, for me, flat surfaces are much harder to work with. I tend to make more mistakes on flat surfaces. So we're going to do the flat surface together. Hi, Sharon. Yeah, I don't know. I like waxing. I don't know if it's just, I can get wax to look right. Glaze stresses me out a little bit more. And I think the reason for that is that so many times when I've applied it, I thought I've applied, whoops, back, see, I'm getting distracted and I forgot to wipe it off here. It doesn't dry as transparent as like I may have thought, and it's much darker. All right, so I'm going to do this spot over here, and then we're going to do the top, which I think is going to be the challenging. All right, I'm moving on to my, I'm done with this cloth, I think. I'm moving on to a new cloth, except, boy, I just want to, it does look pretty though from afar, the other side that I just did. This is a perfect color. All right, here we go. So we're just gonna smush it right into the medallion. I really want it like right into those crevices. You don't need much on your brush. So this is the side that in spot, I think along here and up here, I missed my second coat of paint when I went back to do it. So, or I missed spots of it. So this is where the glaze will help be forgiving. Actually, I already love it. This table, I just, every time I look at this color, I can't decide if it looks more green or more blue. Today it looks more blue to me than green, and yesterday it looked totally green. So I guess that's a good color. It's a good color when it changes in the light, I think. I like that. I have some walls in my house, walls and ceilings both painted in a gray color, and depending on the time of day, first of all, you can't tell the ceiling is a different color. You know, you think it's white, I guess, because you assume it's white, but depending on what time of day it is, the gray, sometimes it looks blue, sometimes it looks white, and it's really pretty. So I've got half my house painted in the same gray instead of using whites. I just use the same neutral gray. I think it's called Passive by Sherwin-Williams. All right. Now you can go back and add more once it's totally dry, but as far as I know, there's no way to get it up. The glaze, Jamie, is Wise Owl metallic bronze. And it's a really pretty color. I think I've used it, like I said, I've used it over raw wood to try to make some things blend. There's another spot right here, that light spot, that's where I had to sand a drip off. And it's just got a really pretty sheen. Okay, so I'm using a clean cloth now. Right. So I really am taking most of it off, but it does add so much dimension where it's left on though. All right, yeah, it really did add a lot of dimension. So let me just get up here, and then we're gonna do the top. I like the look too. Thank you. Yeah, you really don't need much, considering there's not many products you put on and then you wipe back off. It sounds a little wasteful, doesn't it? All right, I gotta do this part because I just got it. Oh, I know what I forgot to say. So normally, for those of you who don't glaze, the one thing that I didn't do with this, that I normally would do, is seal before I glaze. Because, and the reason I didn't do it with this is because the paint already has like a built-in top coat to it. So if you're using a paint, like typically I use porous paints. And that means that as soon as the glaze hits it, it's going to soak in and color your paint. It's going to like stain it and you won't get it up. I've learned that the hard way. Sometimes it's not so bad, but if you're like trying to glaze a dark color over white, it will really change it and you kind of can't go back. All right, so can you see the difference in that? Let's see if I can show you. Can you see it? It's really pretty and subtle. It's not, there's no sunshine today, so it's not very, it's not a lot of light. All right, so, hey Paula. Yeah, I think it's a huge difference. Okay, I am going to now, this is one of those moments that I might regret. I'm gonna do the top with you. It's iffy. I have a hard time with flat surfaces, so I'm gonna lift the table down onto the ground and then I'll move the camera. Yeah, flat surfaces are much harder than, because you know sometimes the lines can look funny. So I'm gonna try really hard to not have them look funny. All right. I feel like I've lifted this table up and down, this up here, too many times. I'll just move the table so that it doesn't have wheels anymore, but all right, so it's got a little, you know, I would say the finish to this is more satin. I'm kind of surprised at that actually. Okay, so all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm taking this leap. I've got all my stuff ready. I definitely want to go in long movements, and I very well might be using this instead of using the cloth, or use the cloth and then this. So let's just see how it goes. Okay. I want to get it right into, there's a little, right into this lip here. And I'm just going to do like one stripe at a time because glaze dries pretty quickly. So, and you get, if you do keep overworking a spot of glaze, in my experience, what happens is it starts leaving this mark that you then can't get up. Like it won't take the glaze. Cloth. I mean the okay, so I'm going to go with less is more, even though I really want to leave a lot in there. I know from experience that it shows up a lot more once it's dried. And then I'm going to do I want to, okay, so because my brush is dry, it's moving that around. It's still a little too much, so I'm going to go back in with my wet cloth. I know you probably can hardly see it, but I I can see it from here. I don't want it too stripy. Yeah, that's really hard to see. Can you guys even see anything? Could you even see a change? Let me see. Maybe I can move a little closer and put the camera right straight down. All right, that should be better. Let's try this again right down the middle, right down next to where I was before. I'm gonna do that whole lip there. Just gonna try to work fast. Cloth. It's a lot of product coming up. Okay, new cloth. You gotta have all this stuff like ready to go once you start. You could see why I'm wearing my gloves too. You kind of can't worry about that. See, that might be a problem there where I just did this. So quiet. I wish you guys could like speak back to me. It's really weird talking to myself. All right, and then let's just try to see if I can feather some of that. All right, what do you think? Can you guys kind of see what I'm doing? It doesn't look too stripy or spotted, so I think we're doing pretty well. Yeah, I can see the striations on the camera. Hi Mary, hi Haya, Elaine and Betty. So it looks nice, so you can tell, you can see it. All right, I'm gonna go to the other side here. And I think this adds a nice detail. And you know what, this is gonna be harder than a rock because the glaze is an acrylic, the paint is an enamel. This is going to be a very tough table. I'm going to go back and seal it. I'll put probably my big top on it, DIY big top, and I'll do that today. This will be dry enough to do that with. I could totally see this color combination on kitchen cabinets. I think it would be really pretty. Like the pinstriping kind of in the bronze would be gorgeous. It wouldn't surprise me actually if some of the Wise Owl people have already done it. Somebody in the shop asked me today about cabinets, and I just said I just have no desire to do kitchens. No desire at all. Sure, I could. Do I want to? Nope. Too much work. Too much not fun work. All right. So yeah, I think that looks really pretty. Do you guys have any questions about the glaze? I'm trying to look at it on camera. I mean, it's got like highs and lows because of the lights. I bet you if I put my spotlight on it, it'll make it more glary. Let's see. You see that? Love it. I just have to finish the bottom. I think it looks really good. Yes, Cheryl. My arm can't even lift this stupid camera up anymore. So this is the table that I just did. It's the 1 hour enamel abyss that I painted yesterday. And over the top of it, the Wise Owl glaze in metallic bronze. and it is a perfect color combination. It's so on my cloth, I can see all the kind of gold and bronze metallic glittery coming up off my cloth. Yeah, it came out really good. So I'm happy with it. I love the color combo. So thank you, Michelle and Joe, yesterday for recommending it and saying that it would look good. I'm going to finish the bottom of the table and then probably take some pictures. I have a lot of new projects to start. But I hope if you guys don't glaze that this helped you out some. And if you do glaze and you know how to make that cloudy glazy finish without making it look like leopard spots, I would love to hear about that, because that's not a skill that I've mastered yet. And I'm always trying to learn new things. So yeah, so thanks for joining on this. I already knew I love the glaze because I've been using the glaze for a few years. But I think I really like the enamel, and I'm going to find some other things to paint with it. So yep, so you guys have a great weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.